This courtroom scene is intense, and it's one you don't want to miss. 19-year-old Mr. Hankey finds himself in serious trouble after making a bold and reckless decision. He cut off his court-ordered electronic tether. This wasn't a small mistake or a misunderstanding. It was a clear violation of his bond, and it immediately set off alarm bells in the courtroom. Despite his lawyer pleading for mercy and asking the judge to give him a second chance, Judge Simpson was unyielding. The defendant's actions weren't just a technical violation. They showed a complete disregard for the law and a troubling lack of respect for the court. The tension in the room was palpable as everyone realized the severity of what had just happened. But it gets worse. The prosecution revealed that while in jail, Mr. Hankey had been making phone calls, boasting that the court couldn't stop him from contacting the victim. Imagine that, taunting the very system that was meant to hold him accountable. Judge Simpson's reaction was sharp and direct. He reminded Mr. Hankey that he is not as powerful as he thinks, delivering a hard-hitting warning that could only be described as a classic mess-around-and-find-out moment. The courtroom watched as the judge made his decision final. The motion to reinstate the bond was denied. Mr. Hankey would remain in jail, and the message was loud and clear. Defiance, arrogance, and attempts to manipulate the system come with consequences. No excuses, no second chances. This case is a reminder to everyone. The courtroom is not a place to test limits. Respect the law, follow the rules, and understand that the system sees through arrogance and deception. Mr. Hankey's story is a cautionary tale of what happens when someone thinks they are above the law, and the results are undeniable.
Case of the People versus Marquesi Hankey.
Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Attorney Kevin Hassan, except
All right, it's your motion.
There's probably a motion to take the previous PCC hearing. My client vote from privileges from the jail suspended due to allegations that he cut off tether and contacted the complainant. Following that particular bond hearing, I instructed my client to not contact the complainant with period in the jail. I also instructed my client that if allowed to be back on bond, we would ask the court to hopefully just reinstate his original bond with tether. I would note that he has no prior criminal, no prior adult felony conviction whatsoever. Following the submission of my motion, I did read the people's response, which I guess there's been allegations that my client had contacted the complainant subsequently. Now, I just found out today some transcripts. Obviously, people address this. Some of the language that was used in our conversations, I don't have phone conversations myself, but I will admit, Judge, that it seems that my client had contacted the complainant even after his bond. And so I say this, Judge, and again, I know it seems like my client is kind of throwing up his middle finger to the court.
Oh, yeah. He is.
But Judge, I just would state that this young man, I think he understands now that the court orders are serious, that the court orders him to do something it means. So Judge, I'm just asking, I guess, for some leniency to trust that Mr. Hankey will comply. He had a $75,000 cashier bond that he was able to post to a bondsman. The only thing I can ensure that if the court were to give him a second chance, he would not violate his bond, even if the bond is a house arrest with strict conditions. So Judge, I am asking the court to reinstate his bond, and if the court is unwilling to do so, I would at least ask that his phone privileges be allowed back on to at least contact family. Does he's never had any contact with his family, his children? He hasn't been able to contact his dad, caretaker for. And so at the very least, there's a restriction on his phone privileges to contact family.
All right. Well, before I hear from the people, counsel, let me just say, you came in here the first time, and well, let me start with this. Where's our tether?
From my understanding, Judge, I thought community corrections still had it. I thought they had become.
No, he cut the tether off. We haven't seen it. And I know you made the representation to the court, but I know you wouldn't have personally known that. I'm sure that came from your client or something along those lines. We don't have the tether back.
Okay.
Then, you know, and I get you're making the representation saying your client's going to follow what the court says, but I don't know if anything can be as shocking as walking into a court free. Your mom gets revoked. You get put in jail because of something that you've done, and then you still go about violating the court's order. I'll be honest with you, counsel. I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't have a problem giving people chances. I just don't know that this is the one to give a chance to. Because he just hasn't done anything the court's asked him to do. Ms. Senda.
Your Honor, I will rely mostly on emotion. However, in listening to his jail calls, he has 45 total calls to one number after his privileges were revoked with different pins he's using. Then to the other number, we have 23 calls that were completed since his privileges were revoked with different pins. And in one of these calls, as recently as Monday, there were a few memorable quotes that I heard in the calls, such as, "There's not shit in this world that's going to stop me from talking to you, man. Nothing in this world's stopping me from you. I don't hook up what nobody says about none of that. I'm going to be calling until my court date. They're not going to do shit. At the end of the day, they can't do shit. I'm going to talk to you until I can't talk to you no more. I'll be home. I'm not worried, man. I know I told you this is about to be my last call, but I'm not stopping shit. I'm not stopping nothing." And then, why stop now if they already know? So I have extreme concerns that he cannot follow court orders, considering he cut off his tether, continued flagrantly calling the victim with other pins, both numbers, acknowledging in some of the calls that he should not be contacting her, and continue to contact her. He just cannot abide by any of the court orders that are set before him. So I have great concerns, and especially given the violent nature of this case as well.
Anything else, counsel? I mean, counsel, does your client want me to just request to the jail that they put him in solitary so that he has no contact with anyone, can't use their PIN number? If he thinks we can't do something, and if particularly you're going to look at this judge and think I can't do something, young man, you're going to learn a big lesson.
So I definitely don't want that. My client.
Well, he needs to, and I don't mean to interrupt you, counsel, but he needs to understand. You can say all that stuff. You are not that big, not that bad. Now, if you want to play with me, this is the kids say, mess around and find out. I guess that's not the quote, but yeah, it's close, but I did pretty good. I said it okay, right now. All right.
So just, if I may, just briefly, my client would like to.
Go ahead.
I want to apologize. I don't think I'm being bad at all. It's very about myself. I can't say that I'm not in here for nothing. You obviously think I am. Yeah. I just want to apologize. Like I said, I'm not being bad. I don't want to be here at all. I really don't. Truly. Again, please show mercy. Please. That's all that matters.
I have no problem showing mercy to those that deserve it and have earned it. You have not. Motion for bond reduction or any change is denied. His bond will continue as revoked.
Thank you, Judge. And for the record, this is also, from my understanding, the PCC.
Yes, sir. Is all discovery complete?
It is. And I would ask if possible, if possible.
People have their witnesses available on the first
We'll do our best, Your Honor.
preliminary examination in person will be set April 1st, 2025, 9 a.m. in person before Judge Perry.
And Your Honor, I did want to make it clear where I did contact the jail yesterday, and they have blocked both of victims' new numbers and old numbers, so there should not be anyone.
More calls coming through. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
You won't believe what happened in this courtroom. 19-year-old Mr. Hankey is facing serious consequences after flagrantly violating his bond by cutting off his court-ordered electronic tether. This wasn't a simple mistake. This was a clear and deliberate act of defiance against the court. Right from the start, tensions were high as the courtroom prepared for what would become a dramatic showdown. His lawyer tried to plead on his behalf, asking the judge to consider giving him a second chance. But Judge Simpson wasn't buying it. The violations were serious, and the defendant's attitude made it impossible to show leniency. The courtroom could feel the weight of the moment. Cutting off a tether isn't just a technical breach of rules. It's a blatant statement of disrespect for the justice system. As the hearing continued, the prosecution revealed more troubling behavior. Mr. Hankey had been making phone calls from jail, boasting that the court couldn't stop him from contacting the victim. The arrogance was shocking. The courtroom murmured as the judge listened, and it became clear that the defendant had a complete lack of understanding of the consequences of his actions. His behavior wasn't just reckless, it was dangerous, both legally and personally. Judge Simpson responded firmly. He reminded Mr. Hankey that he was not as powerful as he thought. "Mess around and find out," the judge said, making it clear that the court would not tolerate this kind of behavior. Every word carried authority, and it was evident that the courtroom wasn't just hearing a lecture. It was witnessing accountability in real time. The tension continued to rise as the hearing unfolded. Mr. Hankey's attempts to manipulate the situation by taunting the court from jail only strengthened the judge's resolve. The motion to reinstate his bond was firmly denied, and it became clear that Mr. Hankey would remain in jail. The courtroom's atmosphere was heavy with the realization that defiance and arrogance carry serious consequences. But beyond just the legal ramifications, this case serves as a stark reminder of a deeper lesson. No one is above the law. Ignoring court orders, flaunting rules, and attempting to manipulate the system will always lead to accountability. Mr. Hankey's story isn't just a courtroom drama, it's a cautionary tale. It shows what can happen when someone thinks they can outsmart authority and avoid the consequences of their actions. Throughout the hearing, the judge maintained complete control, emphasizing the importance of respect, responsibility, and consequences. Every detail of Mr. Hankey's behavior, from cutting off his tether to making boastful calls, was addressed with seriousness. The courtroom became a stage for justice in action, a vivid example of how the legal system responds to defiance. As the hearing concluded, the message was crystal clear. Attempts to disrespect or undermine the court are met with strict enforcement. Mr. Hankey's actions didn't just result in jail time. They sent a message to everyone watching that accountability is absolute. There are no shortcuts, no loopholes, and no way to escape the consequences when you deliberately violate court orders. This case will be remembered not just for the defendant's reckless behavior, but for the judge's unwavering commitment to enforcing the law. The courtroom was a battleground of accountability, and Judge Simpson ensured that justice was served without compromise. Every warning, every decision, and every statement made during the hearing reinforced one simple truth: respect the system or face the consequences. For viewers watching this unfold, it's a lesson in responsibility. Mr. Hankey's choices led him down a path of serious legal trouble, and his arrogance only made things worse. The courtroom didn't just punish behavior, it illustrated the real-life consequences of thinking you can evade authority. By the end of the hearing, it was undeniable. Mr. Hankey would remain in jail, and the judge's firm stance sent a message that reverberates far beyond the courtroom. For anyone thinking they can test the limits of the law, this is the reality you face. The courtroom doesn't negotiate with arrogance, and the justice system doesn't tolerate deliberate defiance. This story is more than just a legal case. It's a warning, a lesson, and a dramatic reminder that accountability is real, immediate, and unavoidable. Mr. Hankey's experience is a vivid example of what happens when someone chooses to ignore rules, defy authority, and believe they are untouchable. The courtroom's intensity, the defendant's brazen behavior, and the judge's unwavering control combined to create a story that is both gripping and educational. It's a reminder that every choice has consequences, that the justice system works to protect victims, and that disrespecting the law comes at a very high price. As you watch this unfold, remember the lessons from Mr. Hankey's case. Accountability is not optional, arrogance has limits, and the courtroom will always hold you responsible. Judge Simpson's handling of this case serves as a powerful example of justice in action, showing that no matter your age or attitude, no one can escape the consequences of breaking the law. Every moment of this hearing reinforces a single truth. Actions have consequences, the law is absolute, and the courtroom is not a place to test your limits. Mr. Hankey's story is intense, dramatic, and ultimately a warning to anyone who might think they can bend the rules without repercussions. In the end, this is more than a legal story. It's a dramatic lesson on respect, responsibility, and accountability. Mr. Hankey's choices led him straight into serious consequences, and Judge Simpson made sure the lesson was unforgettable. For viewers, it's a vivid, real-life reminder that defiance and arrogance are never rewarded, and the law always prevails.